Hello, my name is Patrick McGee. I am a licensed registered architect in the state of Arizona.
What key life experiences have formed who you are today?
Well, I'm what you call a young baby boomer. I grew up in a really a good household and a good place in the country. And my parents were creative and they were supportive. When I got to college, I had a very open mind. I got to travel to Europe. After moving out west here to Greater Phoenix, I had a chance to do a lot of camping and a lot of hiking in this beautiful part of the country. And that has informed my love of nature and sustainability.
How did you become passionate and involved in architecture?
Well, perhaps I'm a little bit of a reluctant architect. My father was an architect and he was a very creative thinking type of a person. I do have a very engineering sort of mindset of organization. When sustainable buildings came along, LEED and all that, I became very passionate about doing a building better.
What are your core values and how are they reflected in your practice?
As architects, we're professionals. We are simply agents for our client. They trust us to do the right thing. They trust us to bring ethics and integrity to the process. Don't just design for aesthetics' sake, design for a positive outcome on all levels of the building.
What is your design process?
Well, like I said, it's so important to understand the owner's needs and desires and to keep in mind who are the stakeholders in the process outside of the owner. And we're all stakeholders to some extent. Visualization for me includes the obvious and not so obvious. I mean, I can go to the site and I can see the nearby vernacular and the aspects of the site and react to those. Those are kind of the obvious things, but understanding what the owner wants inside the building and what they actually need, and sometimes they're not even aware of that. That's the visualization you have to have that may not be so obvious. And just make sure that you're, at the end of the day, you're meeting the needs of all the stakeholders, whether it's the owner, whether it's you, the architect, or the consultants, or even the builders. You're there to help facilitate the success for a positive outcome.
How do you collaborate with other individuals to realize your impactful work?
Well, I try to provide leadership and I give them a sense of that I know what I'm doing, I know where it's going, I know what the schedule is, but I have to solicit their input and feedback. I can't do this by myself. I am only an architect, I am not the engineer. We can look at engineering is architecture by nature, but the architecture is the sum of everything, including the program, the system, the finishes, and actually the old integrative process that we go through.
How has Peter Zumthor's architectural ideas and buildings impacted your architectural practice?
Well, Peter's architecture, looking at it, it has a nice reference to the social vernacular, which I always appreciate. If I'm going to put a building in a place, I want it to blend with the surrounding vernacular. He appears to use a very impressive use of local materials and building traditions. His work looks understated. There's a natural look to it, very understated, yet because of his carpentry background, his building detailing is very complex. So I very much like his architecture.
What are the biggest challenges you face?
Well, it's probably the biggest challenges I'm facing of late is managing on a project untimely information or input. I want to control the risk posed by a construction project.
What advice would you give to a young student?
Well, the profession's not all about aesthetic design. So don't worry if you find yourself getting slotted into being a different kind of an architect. Because you're good at something else. Maybe you're good at crunching numbers. Maybe you're good at marketing. Don't be worried about being slotted into these things. You can always take design with you, whatever slot you seem to fit in.